A lot of praise coming from both sides across Capitol Hill. Republican Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma has been calling on the Trump administration to act against Assad for a while. Let me bring him in now. Senator James Lankford joining me from Washington. Senator, welcome.
Thank you.
So you support, sir, last night's military action. Let me ask you this. Did it go far enough for you?
Well, it's not far enough because Assad is still there, but that doesn't mean military response is what's needed to actually remove Assad. But it is important that the United States is actually engaged in the region. And for the leaders in the region, they perceive for the last several years, the United States has been disengaged there. If we're going to have a solution, if we're going to remove Assad, we've got to show that we're actually there, paying attention and engaged and pushing him out.
What do you make of now the U.S. military investigating whether or not Russia was complicit? They're specifically looking to see if, this Russian warplane actually dropped a bomb on this hospital in Idlib to cover up that chemical attack. How concerning is that for you, and what should be the next step?
Well, there's no question that Assad is the proxy of Iran and of Russia. And the only reason Assad is still there is because Iran and Russia are propping them up. Russia specifically on the ground in the same area at the same base where their chemical weapons are stored, where they're actually launched from, and where they're delivered back to that spot. So it's impossible for me to consider that Russia was at least not aware, if not complicit, in helping them through the process of actually delivering these chemical weapons. All those are questions that Russia needs to be able to confirm to the world, not just to us. But to the world several years ago, Russia confirmed in the world's eyes that they had helped Assad remove all of his chemical weapons and dispose of them. And now we see we're still there, and they're still there at a base where Russia also resides.
As Americans are trying to understand President Trump's motivations and change in how he views military action in Syria, I mean, he tweeted something like 24 times in 2013 saying, don't, attack. And you have changed your mind a bit as well. And I just want to understand how. In 2013, you said to a meeting of your constituents, quoting you, "I remain opposed to U.S. military intervention in Syria's civil war. A limited missile strike will only weaken our hand in the Middle East when Assad claims a year from now that he beat the rebels and the Americans." And you go on to talk about, how we should engage diplomatically. In 2013, that was 1,400 men, women, and children killed. Just help me understand, Senator.
Sure.
What changed your mind?
So I can't get into the mind of President Trump. Obviously, he'll get a chance to articulate that in the days ahead. But I can assure you, for me in that conversation and in multiple others, it was my frustration with the Obama administration, and what they brought out was a very limited focus. The authorization for the use of military force that they presented had all these time limits and boundaries and limitations on it. That my question was, if we're going to engage, we need to engage with a purpose to be able to both diplomatically remove Assad or militarily if we have to put that pressure on.
I understand, Senator Lankford, but the pictures were the same. 1,400 men, women, and children poisoned, gassed. I think that's what some Americans are having a hard time understand, if not then.
I would have no issue then as I would now. If President Obama would have carried out a limited strike like this, I would have absolutely supported that and would have said, the now what part of it? It's the same question I'm asking right now of President Trump. You did a limited strike. You stated that America is in the game now. Now it's the now what. It is his responsibility to be able to bring a request for an authorization of use of military force to the Congress so that the American people can get engaged and determine exactly how this will be done, and then the president to be able to carry that out. My position on this is the same in the sense that I want a diplomatic solution. Everyone wants a diplomatic solution. But if we're going to engage, we can't just limit it, engage, and then walk out, because it was same true as was then. If Assad at the end of it can say, I beat the Americans, I lived through their bombardment, and I'm still standing here, it weakens our position in the world and definitely in the region.
Sure. Senator James Lankford, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Straight ahead here on CNN.